Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. And the movie I want to take a look at right now is The Long Night. Now, this one comes from Well Go USA, and it hits theaters and on demand February 4th, this Friday, if you want to check it out, regardless of what I'm about to say. You know, going into this, I didn't even know this existed. Gonna be quite honest with you. Never saw a trailer, never saw any stills, never even heard about it. So, you know, when I was sent the opportunity to review it, I was like, why not? I think that's it's a gamble sometimes, but I think when you don't know anything at all going into a movie, it could be quite the experience. And so, you know, I read the plot synopsis before I watched it, and I will go ahead and just read it off to you guys. A devoted couple's quiet weekend takes a bizarre turn when a nightmarish cult and their maniacal leader come to fulfill an apocalyptic prophecy. So when I read that, I was like, okay, cool. A cult-based film, horror, suspense, you know. If it is done really well, I like these movies. They're fun. So I saw it. It's fine. It's not bad. It's not great. It kind of runs in the middle with all of the other kind of cult films that I've seen that have just been kind of plopped on Netflix or Hulu or whatever. It doesn't really add anything new to this subgenre of horror, but I liked the little mystery with it, and it did keep my attention for an hour and a half, and I was curious to see like how it would kind of play out. So I'll give them that. I wasn't like bored out of my mind, because the one thing I do appreciate about these films, and you know this film in particular, is director Rich Ragsdale knows atmosphere, knows mood, knows how to build tension within scenes, knows how to drop the sound design and let the scene kind of play out naturally to really kind of get under your skin and just kind of creep you out. You know, there's specific scenes where he utilizes that and really kind of messes with your auditory and visual senses and kind of throws you off kilter a little bit, providing that kind of looming dread that you need over this movie. You know, with the couple that we're following, if you've seen these movies before, most likely one or both of them are not going to make it out alive. So it's survival at this point. And so we kind of know what's going to happen, unless you subvert our expectations. But building that atmosphere and that dread and just kind of have it like hang over like a cloud the entire time while you're watching it, you know, that's still a skill that you need to do in these types of films, even if you can kind of predict the outcome. And I think Ragsdale did that, you know, pretty well. There are several scenes that stuck out to me where I was like, okay, that was kind of cool. You know, when they get into the house, example here, when they get into the house that they're going to for the first time, there's this nice kind of floaty long take that follows both of the characters. It's very calm. It's very just kind of present as it follows them, but there's no music. There's no real sound design. It's just kind of quiet. It's kind of eerie. You know that it's like the calm before the storm. So it's little like magical things like that in terms of filmmaking that I really appreciate with these types of films. But like I said, doesn't really add anything new, but also, again, not terrible either. But in terms of, like I said, creating mood and atmosphere, I think Ragsdale did that. The story, like I said, is kind of interesting. The mystery and the prophecy that you hear about in the plot here, you know, at the end of it, I was kind of like, that's kind of interesting. I'd like to see where this goes, but the credits are rolling. So, you know, make a Long Night Part 2. I don't know. So yeah, there's that. And, you know, as far as, like, the actual characters that were written for this film that we're following, the married couple, they're fine. You know, obviously, one or both of them are going to be tied to this prophecy. You just know how these are going to play out. And so, you know, that's what kind of made me interested into the characters. I didn't really care for them as a couple. They just seemed like any traditional hot Hollywood couple, and it didn't really fascinate me. But it was the story and the motive behind the cult and everything that kept me interested. There were a couple of things that were really funny on Ragsdale part, and so there was first of all, the main character played by Scout Taylor-compton. She plays the wife. Her name is Grace Covington in the movie. Covington. Come on, that's funny. I think you know where I was going with that. Don't want to spoil anything though. And then there was one shot in the middle where it was so over the top and so goofy. I will just say it involves a woman on the floor or on the ground in the forest. It was so, I know it wasn't supposed to be portrayed as funny, but man, it gave me a laugh, and I almost woke up my wife that was sleeping in the bed next to me. And then also, the only complaint I have, and this is literally just a minor nitpick, is at the very beginning. We have the opening with the couple, right? And they're like, all right, we're going to take this trip. We're going to go to this house, whatever. It's like this nice like little moment. They're about to start their journey. And then it kind of, it fades out, just a slow fade out. And then it cuts to a shot that happens later on in the movie just to have a jolt to the audience, a defibrillator moment, if you will, a jump scare. And then it cuts to the title sequence where it has this really cool like animated like forest with the fog, and like it sets the atmosphere, the long night, and then we start, right? Why did you need that shot? Why did you need that jolt of energy in your opening? I think it would have been more beneficial if you just faded out from your opening and then you just fade in to the woods and then push, reveal your title, and then we're off. That kind of sets the steps a little bit more, with the dread and everything, rather than just like a quick insert cut. I don't know. It was so random, and it threw me off, and I was like, oh no, we're about to get into something terrible. Luckily, that was the only like bad thing I noticed, but anyways, minor nitpick. That annoyed the heck out of me, so there you go. Anyways, done with all of that. Let's move on to the performances. They're fine. Scarlett Taylor-compton, I've known her from Rob Zombie's Halloween, so nice to always see her pop up. And then Nolan Gerard Funk, I love that name. Once again, they just both kind of play a typical hot Hollywood couple. But what I can appreciate about these two actors and everyone else in the movie is that even with this low budget of a film that's probably not going to be seen by a lot of people, they are having fun. And if the actors are having fun, enjoying this little experience, then I do as well. And that's why I don't really hate this movie. You know, I can see someone getting bored, popping this thing on at 2 a.m. if they can't sleep, if they have like insomnia or something, and they watch The Long Night. I can see this playing very well to the PVOD crowd that just want to watch a new horror film. So, there's that. So, yeah, like I said, by the end of it, I was curious to see where we go, but the credits rolled, so here we are. So that's really my review of The Long Night. Really not much more to say. Please let me know down below whether you have seen it, whether you liked it, loved it, or hated it. I'd like to know your thoughts. But yeah, The Long Night. So check it out in theaters and on demand this Friday, February 4th, if you choose to do so, from Wellgo USA. So that will do it for this review, guys. I'm Chase Lee, and tune in next time for whatever I review next. I will see you guys later.